Welcome, guys. In today's tutorial, I I brought out time to create an a web interface for my C# learning, and I'm going to be posting my web in my description, in the video description, so you guys can have access to it as well. So it took me lots of loads and times. I used uh many. I used HTML, CSS, and React with JavaScript to make this functionality work properly, and I made sure that it's error free. So you can get the classes on the description, so you can join me as well. So these the fundamentals. We are going to be summarizing all the fundamentals of C sharp. So you can see this. So we will go into object-oriented programming. We'll grasp encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism for robust code designing. Classes and objects learn to create and initialize objects using constructors and the new keywords. Access modifiers will create visibility with public, private, to control visibility with public, private, protected, and internal modifiers. Then interfaces ensure consistent method implementation across classes. Then error handling, use try catch to manage exception like format exception or derived from system.exception. Then we have loops and collections, iterate with while, for each, and break over list collections. Then methods and properties, define void methods and auto-implement properties for data control. Inputs and output, handle users input with console.readline and file output with stream writer. Then data types, understand bool for true or false and the string/strings equivalence. Inheritance and polymorphism, use the semicolon for inheritance and virtual for method overriding. Then collections, store generic types in list for dynamic data management. Exception handling, safely process user inputs and file operations. Control flow, master loops and conditional statements for program flow. Methods, create reusable code blocks with specific tasks. Then advanced features, explore virtual methods and interface implementations. So for this, my program that I created for you guys. The link would be on my description page, and you can access the 30 questions. So I will do it together, and take note, please. I might not be able to get some of the questions because I wrote down most of the questions earlier and a very long time ago. So it took me time to create all these interfaces. So I might just have forgotten some of the answers, but we'll walk through it together. Then this quiz features 30 multiple choice and 20 true or false questions, each with explanation to boost your learning. Enjoy the vibrant visuals and get ready to level up your C sharp skills. Okay, let's start the quiz. Start your C sharp journey. So you see, I have like 50 questions there. You guys can have access to it. And every question that once you restart quiz, it refreshes and gives you a new question. Once you restart quiz, it refreshes and gives you a new question. Okay, let me restart so you guys see what I mean. So if you restart quiz and start your journey, it refreshes and outputs new question. I have like many questions in this my web. So all you need to do is just subscribe, and so you can get more videos and get more of my classes using my web. I'll be publishing it using my GitHub account, and so you guys can have access to it as well. So how can you use user input safely? How can you check the user input safely? It would be, you can make your answers though. So if you just know it, you can just do it yourself. So how can you check user input safely? I will say try catch block. So try catch is the correct answer. It gives out correct answer, try catch, and it gives you an explanation. Try catch ensures safe handling of invalid inputs. It ensures safe handling of invalid inputs. Okay, so if you can go to the next question, or you can restart quiz depending on your score, on your, if you like your score or something. but let's keep going so we can be able to cover up the 50 questions. I might fail some of the questions though, but I just hope I get a very good grade on this. So next question: a void method must return a value. Void method false. So correct answer false. Explanation: void method do not return any value. Then next question: the keyword this refers to the current object. True. Okay. Correct answer. The answer is true. Explanation: this refers to the current instance of a class. Uh, then we'll go for the next question. Properties are used to control access to private fields. Properties are used to control access to private fields. Uh, Properties, let me see it through. Okay, I'm correct. Cool, that's out of luck, man. So true. Provides Properties provide controlled access to private fields. So it will give you an explanation and show the answer. So if you're incorrect, it still gives you a longer, more detailed explanation. So next question. How do you loop through a list? This one is pretty much easy. For each loop, correct. For each iterates over collection elements. So the answer is for each loop. So I'll go for the next question. In C sharp, string and string mean the same thing. It's true. But I think in Java it doesn't mean the same thing because this string would be a reference data type. So reference data type in Java starts with capital letter, with uppercase. So true is the answer. So next, go for the next one. Which loop repeats a block while a condition is true? The while loop, correct. Correct. So it gives you an explanation. The while loop executes as long as its condition evaluates to true. So go to the next question. For each is used to iterate over collections. Okay, for each is used to iterate over collections. Yeah, true, because okay, it gives you the explanation. For each simplifies iteration over collections like lists, arrays, and many other things. So you can use for each for any of those things. So for the next question, C sharp supports OOP. True. Everyone knows that. C sharp supports object oriented programming. True. Okay, so the answer is true. C sharp is an OOP language. Okay, so what does the new keyword do in object creation? The new keyword new. So if you be like book class book equals new book. Okay, so it creates a new object. It creates a new object. So that's the answer. The new keyword allocates memory for a new object. So we'll go for the next question. Which access modifiers allows a member to be accessed from anywhere? Okay, public. I think it's public. Public, yeah. So it allows a member to be accessed from anywhere. So the correct answer is public. So for the next question, we have what does encapsulation help with? What does encapsulation helps with? Encapsulation encapsulation helps with hiding unnecessary details. Hiding, yeah, cool. That was luck though. Hiding unnecessary details, yeah. Encapsulation helps with hiding unnecessary details like many private and other things, private, protected, and all those things. So the next question would be stream writer for files can write to text files. The answer is true. So stream writer is used to write to files. So next question, what is the purpose of a constructor in a class? Constructor is to initialize objects. True. Okay, true. A constructor initializes the object when it is created. So the answer is true. So next question. Bool is a data type in C sharp. Bool is a data type in C sharp. True. Cool. So true. The answer is true. Bool is a fundamental data type for true or false values. Then the next question we have: how do you define a class in C sharp? Class. So this is for Python. So this is for C sharp. Uh, Class, my class. Okay. So you call class, then the name of the class with the curly braces. So it's correct. So next question. A class can implement multiple interface. A class can implement multiple interface. It can implement multiple interface. Yeah, I think so. True. True. Yeah. C sharp allows a class to implement multiple interfaces. Then a try block must be followed by a catch or finally true. So you must have a catch after your try block. True. Next question. Then what is the purpose of an interface? Purpose of an interface would be to create would be to force method implementation. So it will force the person that is going to inherit from the interface to implement the same method there in the interface. So force method implementation. So the explanation is interface define methods that must be implemented. So if you're working with interface, you must implement the code in the other class that's going to be inheriting from the interface. So next question we have, what does the list collection store? Okay, the list stores generic type elements. The list stores generic type elements, not different classes, arrays, or files. The list is mainly used for generic type elements. So go for the next question. Which method is used to read user input? To read user input, we use console.readline to read the user input in C#. So that's it. So next, what is inheritance? Inheritance is not this, not driving a class from another. So inheritance is driving a class from another. So I'm pretty much getting everything because I was the one that had the question. So you guys should not take offense. So I might just purposely fail one or two questions though. So you guys will see. If you fail the question, it gives you a longer, more detailed explanation for the question. But it still gives an explanation though, even if you get it right. So next. All exceptions in C# are derived from system.exception. True. Okay, so it's all exceptions are derived from system.exceptions. It's true. So next, which keyword is used to define an interface? Interface, you have to call the interface keyword to define an interface. Don't worry, the questions are pretty much easy. So you just use it to test your knowledge on C#. So private fields can access directly from another class. No, false. False. So that's the correct answer. False. So the next question would be, you must use a switch case in C#. No, I don't even use switch cases in C#. I use if and else statements most of the time because I think it's more understandable and cool. So it's nice. So next question would be, how do you define a property with a private field? So you use getters and setters in C#, public, the name of the string, then the value, then gets and sets. So this is this defines an auto-implemented property. So next question we have, fields marked protected are accessible only in the base class. So field marked protected are accessible only in the base class. If you know the answer for this, just type it up. Protected are accessible only in the base class. And just say true. Oh, fuck. It's false. False. Okay. Okay. So I failed the question. You see the red line here indicates that I failed the question. So the correct answer is false and it gives incorrect and explanation. So protected fields are accessible in derived classes too. So you can access protected field in derived classes too. So I failed this. So let's keep going. I can't know everything, and as a programmer, you can't know everything. So next question would be, what is polymorphism? Polymorphism in OOP. It's it's one class inherits another. One method behaves in many ways. Hiding variables. I think is this. One method behaves in many ways. So that's polymorphism. I think it's like a Greek word or something. It means that polymorphism allows methods to have different implementation. It's also called like, it's just like overloading methods or something like that. The same name, the same variable data type, but different parameters. So the next question would be, which data types hold true or false values? Boolean. This one is pretty much easy. Everyone knows it. Boolean. So next, how do you create a list in C#? So creating a list will be list equals new list. So next, which access modifiers allow Which access modifier allows access within the same assembly only? Within the same assembly. Assembly public. No, not public. I think it's internal or protect internal. Yeah, internal restrict access to the same assembly. So internal, you can only access the class in the same like assembly and files and this thing. You cannot access it in another file or another folder. Then next question. A method name and a class must be different. A method name and a class name must be different. It's quite tricky. No, but I think the answer is false. Because you can still name a method of anything, but it will look weird though. Naming having a book class and also a method name book, but it's you can do it. You can like it's possible to do it. So next question. What does void mean in a method declaration? It returns nothing. So void returns nothing. Void indicates a method does not return a value. Explanation for it. So next, what is the return type of a method that returns nothing? I'll just pass this question. Void. So it's void. Void is used for a method that returns no value. Then the next question, which keyword makes a method overridable in a base class? Overridable is virtual. Virtual is for C sharp. So to override this thing, I think for Java is overrides. You use the at symbol and overrides, and so it will make the console aware of something like that. But for C sharp is virtual. Virtual to allows a method to be overridden in derived classes. Next, which exception is thrown for invalid format conversation? So invalid format is format exception is what we the console will give for invalid formats. This thing. So next question. Which operator checks for equality? So this is the operation, what's the name? Assignment operation. This an assignment operation. So it's used to assign values, but this for comparison operators. So most of you might just choose this if you have no idea of C sharp, but in C sharp or other programming languages, this is used for equality. So the operator double equals is used for the operator double equal operator compares two values for equality. Okay. So next question we have interfaces can hold field and constructors. No, interface don't hold field and constructors. Interface don't hold field and constructors. So next we have you can use console.readline to get user input. Uh, true, true. That's true. To get user input, console.readline. Using lists, you can store multiple values of the same type. True. True. You can store multiple values of the same type. What is a method? A method is a block of code that performs a task. Okay, so that's it. A method is a block of code that performs a task. So the next question, what is the output of console write line 3 plus 4? So since this is like an integer, 3 plus 4, there is no double quotes or something, then the answer will be 7. 3 plus 5 value is to 7. But if there's a double quote around it, it would be 3, therefore. Or if there's one double quote here and none, it will give an error. Then next question we have, what keyword is used to inherit from a class? This is the keyword. If you need to inherit from a class in C sharp, you need to use the semicolon dot keyword to inherit. I think Java is oh god, my brain is stuck. Java is let us move on. I'll think of it later. I don't know. Okay. So next question would be an abstract class can be instantiated. No, you can't instantiate an abstract class. You can't. Okay. So next question. How do you handle errors in C sharp using try catch? Using try catch to handle errors in C sharp. So next question. Which class allows working with files? Streamwriter. Streamwriter is for C sharp, allows working with text files. Streamwriter is used for writing to text files. So you can inherit from more than one class in C sharp. Can you inherit from more than one class? No, I don't think so. No, yeah. But I think it's possible in Java. I don't know, I like comparing Java with C sharp. I think they are similar, but Java is more advanced or something. So next, sorry C sharp for saying that though. So how do you stop a loop break? you break out of a loop to stop it. Not continue, switch, or stop, break. Everyone knows that, I think. So next, the last question would be, what is the base class for all exception in C sharp? The base class for all exception is this system.exception. This. Okay. So that's the last question, question 50 over 50. That's not my score, that's just the questions that are done. So if I click on next questions, you have finished the quiz. Choose to view a result or start for a new challenge. So you can either view a result, or if you don't want to view a result because you know that you failed a lot of things, you can also start the quiz. So I'll view my result though, so you guys see the interface. Okay. So this result. Oh, I really tried. So it gives you a different comment here, right here. If you depend on your score though, so you know when you're making improvements. So my result, I got 49. I think I failed one question because I'm not perfect. So I failed one. So this is my total grade, and a cool comments, code master extraordinary. You are a C sharp legend. Thanks for playing CharlesGPT Tech Talk. Keep coding, keep learning, and make sure to subscribe to Master C Sharp. And that's how all we have for you. That's what I have for you guys today. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be posting the link to my GitHub in the description, so you can. I'm going to be publishing it on my GitHub, and I'll post the link in the description so access you can access the questions again, and it spits out for you different questions and stuff like that. So make sure you subscribe and like, comment your scores in your questions, and tell me if it's more difficult or maybe something, but it spits out different questions for every single person. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. Love you guys. So you can just restart the quiz though. This brings you back to our summary and stuff.